video is part 3 of a series aimed at helping you to prepare for your PIP assessment. This episode explores your potential answers to questions about the daily living descriptors. This part of the assessment is crucial because you will need to be awarded at least 8 points to be awarded this component of the benefit. You will need to be awarded 12 points to get the enhanced rate. To successfully gain your points, your answers will need to include 3 things. 1. The nature of your symptoms. 2. How those symptoms affect your ability to meet the descriptors. 3. That you are affected for more than 50% of the relevant time. These 3 things are closely related, and you will speak of them together during your assessment. But first, it might be helpful to deal with each one separately. Claimants need to be able to articulate the severity of their symptoms. Describing this severity can often be more challenging than claimants initially imagine because they have become accustomed to their discomfort. Unfortunately, any normalisation of your symptoms may lead you to overlook significant impact on your life, and your descriptions can be too vague. Avoid this. It's me arthritis, you see. Oh, I do suffer. And on top of that, there's me depression and me anxiety that makes me really depressed and anxious. You need to provide a much more detailed account of your symptoms so that you don't inadvertently downplay the extent of your disabilities. Perhaps this would have been a better answer. My knees lock and stick during movement. They creak, click, snap, and they even make a grinding noise. The pain and discomfort causes a weakness in my knees, and sometimes a knee buckles underneath me. Perhaps a better description of anxiety could be: my anxiety is so bad that it causes physical symptoms. My heart starts to race and I feel like I can't breathe. When I'm in that state, I can't think clearly and it leads to mistakes and errors of judgment. Once you have thought carefully about your own health condition and are able to describe the symptoms in some detail, you're ready to practice matching those symptoms to your inability to perform the daily living descriptors. You need to establish a clear link between your health condition and your inability to perform the daily functions outlined by the PIP descriptors. Every disability is different, but here are some examples of some potentially point-scoring answers in which the symptoms and the inability to perform the descriptors are brought together. My fibromyalgia means that I have muscle spasms. The pain radiates into my buttocks, legs and abdomen. Therefore, even on the days that I'm able to prepare food, I need to use a perching stool in the kitchen. Unfortunately, the pain is often so severe that a perching stool isn't enough and I can't prepare food at all. The pain in my muscles makes any movement difficult. I struggle to get into the bath at all, and when my legs give way, I tend to fall. I use a shower and there is a shower stool. Sometimes even that's too painful and I avoid washing and bathing, or I get someone to help me. Let's look at a mental health example. My mental health condition makes even simple things feel menacing. I feel restless and I have difficulty concentrating. It's overwhelming and my mind goes blank. That means that I tend to make mistakes. For example, I need to be supervised if I prepare food because I tend to forget that food is in the cooker. I sometimes rush to finish things because I want to get the job over with. Overall then, you will need to give a clear account of both the symptoms and the effect of those symptoms on your ability to perform the daily living descriptors. And finally, you will need to demonstrate that you are affected for more than 50% of the relevant time. Most health conditions fluctuate over time. You will only be entitled to PIP if your health condition affects at least some stage of the day on the majority of days, or in other words, more than 50% of the time. The 50% rule will lead the assessor to ask a number of questions that begin with how often, how many, how long. It's very important to recognise that when the assessor seeks to quantify timeframes, you need to be specific with your answers. You must avoid vague or evasive answers because that's an approach that ends in 0 points. Perhaps it would be a good idea to keep a diary for a couple of weeks and then say something like, I realised that you would want to know about this, so I kept a record. I suffer with this approximately 4 days out of every week. It can go into remission for a couple of months, but then it flares up. I am generally dealing with flare-ups for 6 to 9 months of the year. Maybe 1 day in 10 I feel better. I can confirm that the symptoms are always present. In the days leading up to the assessment, think very carefully about the symptoms of your health condition and make sure that you can describe them thoroughly. Practice matching those symptoms to your inability to perform the daily living tasks. Don't try to just wing it on the day. That probably won't go well. When the assessor asks how often or how long, be very definitive and matter of fact about your answers. You must give definite time scales. I wish you all the very, very best for your assessment.